welcome to Lock In Gaming, where we lock in, game on, win, and take over. We are here to try and have fun playing games. Today, we are going to explain the types of gaming genre in summary. We are going to break it down into a list of some surface level of gaming genre so it would be easier for you, the viewer, to understand. Here is the list of gaming genres we're going to talk about: sandbox, real-time strategy, shooters, multiplayer online battle arena, role-playing, simulation and sports, puzzlers and party games, action-adventures, survival and horror, and platformer. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy watching this video as we explain the different genres of gaming to you. Sandbox. Sandbox is the type of gaming genre that explores the creative side of the player. These types of games are usually very much depending on what the player wants to make, like Minecraft for example. If they want to make a house, they can. Sandbox games are really for the people who want to make things or for the people who are just bored enough. Roleplay. Roleplay games are usually the type of games that have stories or quests to do. Sometimes they can even be player-driven depending on what the player chooses. Example of those player-driven games are Undertale and Deltarune, made by the same person, genius and brilliant, Toby Fox. Another example of RPG is Genshin Impact. The game is an open MMORPG where you can progress through a story about a protagonist trying to find their twin while they meet a plethora of characters along the way.
Real-time strategy games are one of the subgenres of strategy video games that do not progress incrementally in turns, but allow all players to simultaneously or in real time. Examples of real-time strategy games are Iron Harvest, StarCraft, and Red Alert. In these real-time strategy games, you will have to simultaneously gather resources, build your base, and in-game technological development, and lastly control units into battle. Multiplayer online battle arena, or MOBA, is another of one of the subgenres of strategy video games in which two teams of players compete against each other on a predefined battlefield. Each player controls a single unit character with a set of abilities that scale over time and uses their proper strategy with their teammates. Examples of these MOBA games are Dota 2, League of Legends, and Mobile Legends. In these games, there are usually 5 players on each team who participate in killing small creeps to gain experience and gold, take objectives, and kill the opposing enemy team. Survival and horror games are a subgenre of action-adventure, with horror games that focus on the survival of the player, while giving the players fear from horror graphics, scary ambience, psychological events that give you fear, and creatures that will chase you around. Examples of survival horror games are Bendy and the Ink Machine, Resident Evil, Amnesia, and SCP Containment Breach. In these games, you will have to search for items and keys to unlock new areas, run away from danger, hide from the creatures, and try to escape the place where the creatures live.
Sports simulation games are fantasy games that allow players to get as close to the reality takes that place in real-life competition as possible. The games give players a chance to act both as general managers and field managers.
Shooters, otherwise known as FPS or first-person shooting games, is a kind of game genre that focuses on you as a player shooting your targets with some form of weapon, usually a gun. Most of the time it's multiplayer, but there are times where it's single player. These types of games require strategy and fast reaction time, or else the enemy will kill you instantly. Shooters basically simulate nearly real-life warfare, and it also shares history of weaponry and history of warfare.
Puzzle games, are commonly known as party games, are gaming genre heavily reliant on multiplayer minigames. Party games are when two or more players compete with each other to win. Examples of party games include Fall Guys and Mario Kart.
Action adventure. The action adventure genre is a video game genre that combines core elements from both action games and adventure game genres. Action games require many of some physical skills as action games, but also offer a storyline, numerous characters, as inventory system, dialogue, and other features of the adventure games. Some examples of action adventure games including Language of Zelda, God of War, and Tomb Raider series. Platformer. A platformer game is a video game genre and subgenres of action games in which core object is to move the player character between the point in either environment. A few examples of this current platform game including classic games such as Super Mario Bros., Castlevania, Sonic the Hedgehog, and Pitfall.